Hello. I don't even know where to begin with this video. So this is the video for week something or other, 3 I think, 4, something like that, for the collab channel. And the topic this week is advantages and disadvantages of being part of the LGBT community. I don't know if that means that we're supposed to take our identity and talk about our disadvantages and advantages, because I can't really talk about like the advantages and disadvantages of bisexual people from a personal standpoint. So I would say that from a trans standpoint, which is how I identify, I would say some advantages of being trans. It's really hard, I think. So advantages of being trans, I guess it depends where you are in your transition. So I think an advantage for me personally is that I'm able to be on testosterone. I was able to have top surgery. I pass as male. So an advantage is that I'm finally seen by everybody as male, which is what I want to be seen as. So that's an advantage for me personally. Another advantage I think of being trans is the like awesome community of trans guys that I have met and come across and talked to, and I've made some really cool friends, trans guys, and the community is like, it's pretty cool to be part of a community like of people like you, I guess, or people who like just like you have this one similar thing, like you're trans, and then within that trans community there's so much diversity. Like there's so much diversity among trans guys, and so I think an advantage is that I get to learn, because I love learning. So I consider it an advantage that I get to learn about other trans guys' experiences and see how like every single one is really different. Yeah, I think that's an advantage. As far as dating or sexual or intimate relationships, I think trans guys I'm probably gonna get crap for this, but I think that trans guys have it alright, I'll talk from personal, I guess I'll say personally, so that I don't speak for everybody. For me personally, I think that being trans has definitely been an advantage as far as like relationships have gone. I feel like I've found that I don't know how graphic I should get, but my junk will be hard for as long as my partner needs it to be. Yeah, I I also, along the same lines, I've heard a lot of women talk about like how they get this sense of like female sensitiveness or something, I don't know how to word it, that they find in trans guys. I mean, I've never really been like a sensitive person, female, male, whatever, so that's not like directly related to me, but I've heard women talk about that as far as what they like in trans guys. But I think like sexually, for me personally, being trans has been like pretty advantageous. There's definitely advantages, I would say, to sleeping with a trans guy, for a lot of reasons. Like I said, hard forever as long as you need it to be. Yeah. I kind of feel like a pig, like I wasn't supposed to talk about that part, but yeah, like your partner can pick their size, and I mean you can have different sizes all in the same act. You can yeah. So I think sexually, for me personally, being trans has been an advantage. I know a lot of people would probably say that being trans and dating in relationships is a disadvantage, and I can totally see how that makes sense, because I've heard way too many horror stories about people dating for like a couple dates, and then they're like tell the person that they're trans, and then like everything changes and like they never talk to them again. And of course I think that's really fucked up. So yeah, I could also see how that could be a disadvantage. But I think my number one advantage of being trans is that I feel like part of this trans guy community, whether we all have different stories and we all disagree and we all agree, and like we all just sort of like we have this one thing in common, and then we can talk about like differences and inside this one community where everyone has this one thing in common. So that's been like really awesome for me to know so many other trans guys, and I know not everybody gets to know trans guys in real life, so again I feel lucky in that sense. And then I think the biggest disadvantage for me, like really big disadvantage for me, is that now that I'm seen as a white male and generally seen as a straight white male, sometimes gay, but most of the time I'm seen as a straight white male, I find it really hard to deal with or navigate male privilege, and I feel like it's really hard to talk about because I feel like not that many people feel like me about it. I don't know if that made sense. I feel so aware all the time about male privilege. Like every single time that I'm experiencing male privilege, I'm really aware of it, and it's really hard for me. Like so many times when something happens to me, I just want to be like, blah. I don't even know. Like last year when I was here trying to buy a car, like the exact same car, like you were gonna give me like a $5,000 more price, and now that I'm perceived as male, like it's totally different. I don't know. It's just really frustrating for me. And I knew from before day one that male privilege shit was gonna be a problem for me, and it continues to be a problem for me. But I sort of feel like as long as I'm acknowledging it and talking about it and just trying to like chip away one person at a time to get to realize that like just to acknowledge the trans male privilege. I feel like a lot of people think that trans guys transition just to like get the white male privilege, white male privilege, or male privilege in general, and I am not that person, and so I feel sort of like not many people feel like I do, and that's totally fine, and I don't care, because I am not afraid to tell people what I think about male privilege. And yeah, so that's my really big disadvantage, and my really big advantage I think is like the community. Another disadvantage I think is also medical care. Medical care for trans people sucks. It is unreal how horrible medical care is for trans people. And this is just speaking from trans guys. As a trans guy, I'm talking about my own experience. I know that there are other horror stories about medical care and trans community. I'm assuming it's also in the M to F community as well, and it's like, it is terrible. It took me 31 calls to find a doctor that would treat people like me. So there's just like so much discrimination, and especially around trans healthcare, and even gay, lesbian, bi. Like, there's so much work to do in the healthcare system. So I think that's a big disadvantage also. So that's my video on advantages and disadvantages, and I hope that it makes sense, and I hope that I answered the actual question, because there wasn't really many guidelines, but I will totally answer questions if people have any, or disagree. I love disagreeing with people. So yeah, that's it, and I will see you guys next Wednesday to talk about something else. I don't know what yet, but to talk about something else. So that is it. I am Dagan. I am your Wednesday guy, and I will see you in 1 week. Later.